Aaron, what is our first main topic today?
Our first main topic comes to us from Dylan's Dialogue. Hey there, John and gang. I just saw that apparently there is a Godzilla and Titans TV series coming to Apple TV. The series will follow the events of Godzilla vs. Kong and will include the exploits of monster tracking organization Monarch. After Godzilla vs. Kong, does this move surprise you? What are your overall thoughts? And have a fantastic weekend.
You know, as we start to emerge out of the pandemic, as theaters started to open back up again, it was with great joy that I went to the movie theaters to watch Godzilla vs. Kong. And it's a movie that does several things very badly. But overall, the good far outweighed the bad for me. I had a ball watching that movie. I had so much fun watching Godzilla vs. Kong. As ridiculous and as logic-breaking as it was, I had a lot of fun. Who knew that King Kong had his own Mjolnir? I mean, nobody ever knew that until Godzilla vs. Kong. I had an absolute blast for it. And of course, there had been a lot of question marks because coming out of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, when that came out in theaters, Godzilla vs. Kong was already in production. And Rob, I think you and I agreed, and I think most people agree, that had Godzilla vs. Kong not already been in production, they may never have made that movie because the box office for Godzilla King of the Monsters was quite disappointing. Everything from that whole franchise has been on a downward trajectory. And then Godzilla vs. Kong came out, delighted a lot of people, made money, and then we knew they were going to move forward with it. The question is, how are they moving forward with it? They're moving forward with it. They're still going to make movies, they say, but they're making a Godzilla TV series. This comes to us from the folks over at Apple who write and give a little bit of synopsis of what this is going to be. Following the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco and the shocking new reality that monsters are real, the series explores one family's journey to uncover its buried secrets as a legacy linking them to the secret organization known as Monarch. And the articles go on to pretty much lay out that, yeah, this is going to be Godzilla. It's a world where the Titans are. It's live action stuff, all this kind of thing. Before I get into what I think about them doing this series, the thing that I don't see anybody talking about is like, not on HBO.
Right.
Not on HBO. These have been Warner movies. This is going to Apple TV. And I don't know if Legacy, here's the thing, because Legendary, I accidentally said Legacy, Legendary Pictures, that's who's working with Apple. Legendary has the rights to this stuff, to make this stuff. And we know, now I'm purely speculating here, all right? Purely speculating. But we know Legendary got extremely pissed at Warner Brothers when they pulled their whole in the middle of the night. Hey guys, all of our 2021 movies are going to be HBO Max. And Legendary was like, what? Excuse me? What? That is not what we signed up for when we paid and made these movies. And they threatened lawsuits. And whatever happened with those, we don't know. And I can't help but wonder if Legendary was like, yeah, we want to do a TV series. And HBO was like, great. Yeah, and we're going to do it with these other guys. We're not going to do them with you. Now, again, I'm speculating that. I'm not claiming that's true. I'm just saying I cannot help but wonder about that. But let's get back to the series itself. There are two thoughts I have. Thought number one, this could be awesome. Like having giant monster kaiju kind of stuff on, a television series, this could be great. My second thought is a little bit more worry because number one, how much of a budget is this show really going to have? Because usually the budgets are smaller. And that leads me to believe that the vast majority of the show is going to be about this family that they're talking about. And that's the big criticism that a lot of people had about the original Godzilla and stuff like that, is that too much of the focus is on the humans. And I fear that with having limited budgets as TV does, this is going to be very, very, very human family centric with the odd, with the odd cameo by a kaiju, whether it's Godzilla or somebody else. So I don't know. I still think it's super interesting though. Rob, you're our resident big fan of the Godzilla universe and all that kind of stuff. What strikes you about all this when you hear about it?
Well, first of all, it gets the blood pumping, I got to tell you. And like you, John, I am skeptical that, of course, because of the budget limitations, there's going to be an emphasis on humans. However, all I can tell you, Apple, is here's what you got to do. You got to watch Godzilla versus the Astro Monster, and you have to bring in the aliens from Planet X. So I'm saying I want aliens in this show. I want aliens to borrow Godzilla and Rodan to solve their Ghidorah problem. I need aliens. Just give me aliens. That's all I want. If you do that, I'll tune in.
What do you think about the whole thing of it being on Apple TV Plus?
I think you're absolutely right about that. I think that Legendary probably made a deal and said, look, we don't trust you, Warner Brothers. You know, it's the same thing that happened to Scarlett Johansson. Makes a deal with Disney. And just because Disney decides to change their release pattern, that doesn't mean that her contract is suddenly null and void. You know?
Yeah.
And so this time, if I look at how much money did they leave on the table by putting out Godzilla versus Kong day and date?
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yep.
We'll never know. But
And it's a movie that should never have been seen for the first time on your home television.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
That's a movie that
Same
you
with
have to see in
Dune.
theaters. Yeah.
I mean, and you look at these movies, but how much money do they leave on the table? I mean, I understand that the pandemic has ebbed and flowed, but look at Spider-Man, dude. I mean, if they had chosen to release
Look
that,
at Free Guy.
yeah, I mean, unbelievable. And I think that, wouldn't you be pissed? You know, and you've got foreign money coming in, you're beholden to your shareholders, and they're like, yo, where's that profit margin? So, but you know what, John? You know, there's ways around. You don't always have to have giant monsters battling. You could still have giant monsters, but do it like maybe they'll have a combination of live action and CG. I can't wait.
How much of that do you think they'll actually do?
It's it's tough to say. I mean, I could see them like Godzuki.
Godzuki?
Minya.
Godzuki.
Up from the depths, 30 stories tall. That's from the animated series. And then there's Minya. There's Godzilla's son Minya, who could be a character in the show.
I still remember. I don't know why, because I didn't watch it a ton, but I will always remember Godzilla, bum bum bum, Godzilla, bum bum bum, and Godzuki.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly how it went. It's like I can't remember. Aaron, you're hearing about this. What do you think about the whole idea of, number one, them trying to make a series out of giant kaiju movies, and the fact that it's on Apple TV Plus? What's your overall thought?
Well, I'm not necessarily surprised that they're trying to make a series about it, because let's face it. Sorry, my Siri is trying to talk to us. I'm not surprised about the series, only because that is the way that we're all going. Let's face it, people have really noticed that television or the streaming wars is where the money is at, and that's where people are directing most of their attention. And I think that at this point, anything could be made into a series, because what is a series these days except an 8 to 10 hour movie. It's an extended movie is what we're watching these days. What I was actually a little surprised on, and this is more towards the Titan side versus the Godzilla side, is there is one platform that we're not talking about, and that's the CW, which is where Titans has been with Greg Berlanti.
No, when they say Titans, they're not talking about the DC superheroes. No,
I was wondering.
They're talking about the giant monster Titans.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Godzilla versus
Hi.
Nightwing.
There's no reason for me to be
Godzilla
on this show.
versus Nightwing is not what they're doing here.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, see, this is why I come on the show, is because I get to validate all of the people who do know what they're talking about by asking my dumb ding dong questions. I was really hoping Minka Kelly would be like fighting Godzilla, because I would totally pay to watch that.
I would too. I'd pay to watch Minka Kelly do just about anything.
Just about anything. I agree with you. No, in all seriousness, I do think that this is not a crazy movie. When we talk about budget, if you look at Apple TV's budget for a show like C, even though that was blown out of proportion and the director was saying, no, it wasn't true, it was rumored that was about $15 million per episode. And even if it was actually much lower than that, that's still a pretty big ballpark to even be talking about. And also remember, Apple has unlimited funds. Their money isn't coming from sponsorship of their shows. Their money is coming from behemoth Apple. And so they're kind of like, they're hemorrhaging money. It doesn't really matter for them. I think that they're going to be putting a lot of money into this, knowing that this could be a really great project for them, a really great franchise. And I think it would actually be pretty cool.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about all this, about a Godzilla live action TV series coming to Apple TV Plus, not to HBO Max. Do you think they're going to cheap out on it? Do you think this could actually be super high quality? What are you feeling about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.